Hi friends, welcome back to Max Electronics. I hope you're doing absolutely amazing this evening, and in today's video we will be looking at this cube which has got 3 power points and a USB ports. Obviously some protection here. 2.4 amps total load. The complaint is that apparently it doesn't work. I'm not sure if the power points don't work. I don't see why not. I'm pretty sure they would. I can guarantee it would be USB ports. So let's plug it in and plug it into the current limiting, just in case if it goes bang. So we've got USB tester here, and I'm applying the power now. Okay, it's consuming. Okay, well, USBs work. 4.89 volts. 4. Oh no, hang on. It's slowly getting there. 5.7, okay. So I'm not sure what's not actually working. So far so good. Let's give it a go with the power points. I've just got this white light here, so we'll plug that in. That works. Let's try all 3 power points. Yep. Yeah, so the power points work, and the USB seems to be working as well. Okay, let's try putting it under load. I've got this battery bank here that we will plug into the... Okay, well, it's dropping the voltage significantly at 1.2 amps. It's pulling to 4.6 volts. Okay, so I think that might be the problem. Let's turn that off. And I've already unscrewed it because it was a nightmare. They've got really deep holes in there, as you can see, and they have those security screws, the one that is with the 2 pins. And of course I do have security screwdrivers, different sizes, but they don't fit in such a small hole, and especially that deep. So I had to improvise, and it took me about 20 minutes to open it up. However, I haven't... Oh yeah, I see what's happening. I see that it may be a cat piss inside. Let me just get a paper towel. I really don't want to touch that with my hands. So we've got 3 power points and the USB block. That is definitely a cat piss. It doesn't smell like it. It smells like staled something, but yeah, I think that would be our problem. Yeah, I can smell stuff now. So I'm gonna pull it apart somehow without touching anything. So the USB module is soldered, so I'm going to desolder that and desolder all the wires for that matter, and that will go straight into the sink. Obviously not the power points, but the rest of it will go into the sink. So I might snip the wires off actually. Then we'll have to resolder everything, but that's okay. So here's the USB module. I'm not going to risk putting it onto my bench, so it goes here. Let's see the power points now. They are all soldered as well. So I'm going to have to open that up somehow. So I'll snip the grounding wire. And let's try pulling the first power point off so we can get the cable off there. That makes it difficult when you have to hold it with a paper towel. So the power points are off. Now I'm going to pull that wire off as well. I thought it'd be something simple like a bad capacitor, but cat piece, that's different. So I'm using Windex just to wipe the wire, so that can go on the side. That will all go into the sink. Let's pull this apart. That's what we're interested in. Those I can do off camera. But yeah, let's pull the USB module apart. So just two screws holding it together. Yeah, there's a little bit of cat piece in there. So I think what has actually happened is that when it got peed on, it may have shorted something out temporary and it was not working. But then it dried up a bit and started working again. So that's why when I plugged it in, it was working. So we'll remove that circuit breaker. That all going into the sink. Circuit breaker doesn't seem to be pissed on. That seems to be alright, but I'll wipe it anyway. Okay, I'm gonna go wash everything, and then we will come back and check out the capacitors on here and clean that all off. So I've washed all the components and I've cleaned off this brass as best as I could. So now let's get into this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the through-hole components from the top, so all of them, and then use a PCB cleaner spray, or usually flux remover, to clean the whole thing on the back and some components at the top maybe. And then we'll check the capacitors. So I'm going to start removing the SMD. It's pretty easy to remember. I didn't draw the schematic or anything because it's quite obvious what goes where. So I'll do this off camera because it's going to be pretty boring for you to watch me desolder that. So I'll do that and we'll have a look at the bare board. I've got all the components off the board, so here's the bare board. I'm going to use this quality flux remover, but you know, it doesn't have to be flux. And I'm going to drown the board in it just to get all the cat piece off it. So not a cheap stuff, to be honest. I don't usually use it. I use, as you know, if you watch my channel, I use lacquer thinner a lot. That's my preferable stuff. This stuff is great, but it's just way too expensive. The amount you go through, you know, like lacquer thinner, it's reasonably cheap. You can buy a big bottle of it for 40 bucks and that lasts you forever. But this stuff doesn't last you long. And it's 20 bucks for this spray can. So just going over all these components and cleaning it all up, and give it another spray under the chips. To be honest, when I was desoldering, the smell was not great. You could smell cat piece like there is no tomorrow. It was not pleasant. So that's the board, I think, cleaned. So now I'm going to do the same with the components. So we've got a couple of USB ports here. They actually not affected, but I'll still, you know, get them cleaned. The transformer is very interesting. The reason, like another thing, you could not use the lacquer thinner and transformer because it will melt the coating on the copper inside, and you'll end up with a shorter transformer. So this stuff doesn't, it's very lenient, so it's not going to melt anything, but it will help us clean. And the rest of the components I'm going to test, which is the caps left, pretty much the fuse, which we know is working, and we've got inductor, which is obviously working as well, and the caps I'm going to test with the capacitance tester. And we'll see if any of them are good or not. So here they are here. So I'm going to check them and I'll be right back. All the caps are tested fine except one, which is 470 microfarad 10 volts. And I don't have any 10 volts, so I'm going to put 16 volt one in. And assemble this now, so let me solder all this back together and then we'll plug it in and test it out. I've soldered everything back in place and I've connected the wires. I've cleaned up those things with using a bit of a sandpaper and a metal brush. So the enclosure's all been cleaned and nice and washed. So I'm going to now attach the cable, solder everything back together and reassemble it. And then we'll plug it into USB tester and see if it shows us again big drop or not. The unit has been reassembled but not screwed in yet. Because I'm definitely not using those security screws, so I'm going to use standard Phillips head. So let's plug that in. We'll turn it on. Here we go. Okay, so far so good. No bang. So let's plug the meter in. That instantly turned on. It's still showing 4.96 volts. Let's try plugging a charger in and see what happens then. It's rising. And it's limiting it now to 1 amp. So that's definitely better. Let me just plug another meter in and see if there's any difference, just in case if that meter is a bit faulty or something. So let's go for this one. Well, this one just says 5.6 volts. So let's try plugging the current in 1.2 amps. Let's try doing that. So yeah, 5.4 volts. And almost an amp. So that's definitely improved, because before it was definitely dropping way too low. So I'm gonna find some screws that fit in there and reassemble it, and that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to support the channel financially, you can do so on Patreon. Just search for Max Electronics. My name is Max. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.